Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. The party of science, the party of science. Actually, there's scientific consensus on this issue. How many times have you heard that one? The science says you're wrong, MAGA bigot chud. Yes, please explain to me how the science is conclusive and there's a scientific consensus that biology isn't real, it was just invented by the white man and the patriarchy. Please go on, leftoid. Explain to me how male and female biology are actually the same, they're just social constructs, and that males carry absolutely no competitive advantage in the world of sports and general physicality in comparison to the female gender. Science. At this point, they'd probably opt for the jank cop-out.
It's this wonderful capitalist invention called Google. Google it.
Just Google it, bigot. Well, they've been going on and on for years at this point that the science backs up their stances. But they could only keep up this mirage, this mask, for so long until the whole damn thing crumbles. Until the mask is lifted and you realize that actually they're just a bunch of hippies in a cult who take these kinds of stances totally ideologically, they're totally emotional decisions as they purposely disregard the science because it doesn't fit their narrative. Finally, one of these leftoids admits the truth. It's Emma Vigeland, an old friend of the channel. For those of you guys who were here in the early days when I had less than 10,000 subscribers, well-renowned leftist thinker, 300 IQ genius, Emma Vigeland, finally, in a very frustrated state, admits the truth. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, well it only took a couple years. A couple years of coping and dancing around the issues. A couple years of avoiding debates and avoiding uncomfortable truths. You know, uncomfortable truths like basic grade school biology. It only took a couple years to finally tell the truth. Here's Emma Vigeland during the Majority Report with Sam Seder, literally saying out loud, "I don't give a S about the scientific explanation."
Matt's citation off cases about the Olympics is pertinent, but an argument for better planning and more transparent discussions. Your argument is really bad on this, and you're out of your depth. You're correct that trans women should be able to compete in women's sports, but your argument for it is just scientifically and factually incorrect. I'm actually not bad about this. I'm 100% right on this. I don't give a shit about the scientific explanations. People, if they identify as a woman, get to compete in sports. If that's not fair in the short term for a variety of little competitions, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit, because the societal interest of including trans people in society trumps stupid competition. Full stop. So I'm right about this, you're wrong about this.
Well, there you go, folks. We've officially been BTFO'd. Take that, right-wing chuds. They've won the argument. Males should be allowed to enter female spaces because, you know, my acceptance and because we don't give a S, bigot. What a fantastic argument. I mean, I'm totally convinced at this point that this is absolutely the direction that we should go as a society. Holy moly. Obviously, you can sense my sarcasm. Holy moly, what an absolutely dog doo-doo argument. Because my compassion and inclusion, it's a cult, folks. It's an actual cult. I mean, we're talking about inclusion of less than 1% of the population in places where fundamentally and logically, based on common sense, they just should not be, at the expense of over 50% of the population. In other words, women. It's the same thing that I always say in these videos. It's targeted empathy. It's very selective empathy. Empathy for one particular group. It's the idea of intersectionality politics, or the oppression Olympics, the oppression pyramid. This one particular marginalized group sits at the very, very top of the pyramid, representing less than 1% of the American population, and so the entire population must now bend over backwards and bend to the every whim, the every desire of said population, regardless of actual common sense. Leftoids are telling you they don't give a hoot about actual women, their feelings, their safety in their own spaces. All of that be damned, because my acceptance in society for one particular group. It makes absolutely no sense. And we just covered a video recently of a young girl, I think she was a high school senior, having her athletic dreams crushed after being knocked off from her potential top 3 podium place, losing to a biological male junior, by the way, it's important to the context, getting knocked to 4th, and stopping her potential advancement, I believe, to the state championship. As I stated in the video, video from a couple days ago, losing out on important experiences in her young student athlete life and career, losing visibility and the possibility of attaining a student athlete scholarship. A devastating experience for this young woman, but who cares? Because again, my acceptance. Well, speaking of acceptance, it's simply all of it is unacceptable. It's even unacceptable from the community members themselves, people who are part of the trans community. How can you justify encroaching on women's spaces and removing opportunity from them? The argument is simply not there. It's always my feelings above everything else. You know, like this moment from a recent Vice documentary.
Male to female transgenders are not allowed to compete as females in our static strength sport as it is a direct competitive advantage.
What was your reaction?
Disappointment, and also not being surprised entirely because of the way that trans women and trans feminine people are treated in sports.
Do you think it's fair for you to compete in the women's category?
Absolutely.
Why?
Why not? I followed all the rules leading up to competing, and my own beliefs aside, that should be enough. This is what happens, right? When trans people meet all the rules, they'll just establish more rules to govern our bodies and our participation in society and in sport.
The argument is essentially because. I should be allowed to compete in these spaces because. Last I checked, that's not an argument. But welcome to the clown world, where the next generation is taking over the snowflake generation, where feelings trump facts. That's exactly what we're seeing here. I don't care about the science, I don't care about the facts, I don't care about the well-being and safety of women, I don't care about young female athletes and their scholarships, I don't care about women's spaces, I care only about virtue signaling and my status in the online left-wing virtue signaling Olympics. I don't know, but the sheer scale of the issue these days seems like cause for concern from me. You know, let's just put it into perspective. How many more mediocre male athletes are going to cross over into the female divisions and start breaking records? It makes no sense. And having an issue with that doesn't make you a bigot. You know, people say that right-wingers are just terrible people going after trans rights. You don't have a right to compete in a sport against a weaker gender. That's not a right. Nobody's trying to stop you from playing sports. You could play in any recreational league you want. I mean, I'm sure nearly every single right-winger would approve of you starting your own league. Nobody denies your existence or your right to live. Conservatives, for the most part, are ideologically libertarian. Live and let live. But being a C-tier male college athlete, then going on hormones for a year and becoming the record-setting de facto #1 NCAA swimming champion, that simply makes no sense, and there's no scientific basis to justify that. And now, even the left admits it. Even your leftist commentators and thought leaders on Sam Seder's show admit that it has nothing to do with science and it's everything to do with ideology. Total adherence to left-wing cult-like ideology. Emma Vigeland said it, I didn't have to. That's what I got for you guys though. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Of course, you know that we'd love to have you here. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you on the next one.